Tell us how did you first meet Philip Anselmo?
Okay, this is another good question. Let's see. As a fan, when I was a young kid, like I said, at the back room, he would play with like Super Joint Ritual or Down. And I just remember just meeting him as a fan just before we even ever met. I remember meeting him a couple of times, just hanging outside, waiting to get something signed and just shaking his hand, and him being real cool, long hair, big beard, But fast forward to a bunch of years later, and I was over in Germany playing with another guy named Billy Milano, and we were in a band called MOD,
right?
And we played a festival with a band called Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, and a bunch of stuff was going on, and I got the call about 6 months later asking if I was interested in coming to rehearse with the Illegals. And even that night when I met him in Germany, I remember meeting him and talking to him and, just being in a room with him, but not really, getting to know him until a little bit later again. But then I got the call to join, to come jam with the Illegals. And at first that was just the Illegals getting together outside of Houston. And then we made our way out to Philip's house, outside of New Orleans. And that's a whole nother story with so many memories, just driving in the car for the first time in my life at 2 a.m, arriving at Philip's house and then being in a room with the guys and closing the door for the first time. And now it's just the dudes, it's only like four guys. And, that was our first time getting to jam together. So, it was just so much work put into a lot to get there. And even that first jam, I learned the whole first Illegals album. Nobody knows me, but I jammed. I was learning the whole first Illegals album, Walk Through Exits Only, just to get in that room. And Philip was wanting to work on the new Illegals album. So we didn't even work on anything that I had practiced. We went right into, first jam, learning brand new songs for this new band, this new project, this new album. It was just, man, so much. It was
so there was no audition process. He just saw you play a few times or whatever, and probably went and listened. He looked you up.
It was a word of mouth, the old school word of mouth. Yeah. It was like, hey, check this guy out. Hey, this guy, this might be the guy. It was a few guys saying this guy. And then I just walked into the room and just never left, man. Still, still there, still jamming, man. And
no audition. He knew you were the guy.
And not so much more today in particular, as Philip is super busy with Pantera and I'm super busy with Soulfly. But me and Philip still have our, we're still, every so often we'll send some demos, or, we still have the Illegals on the back burner, and it's great. But right now, and this time, I'm jamming with Soulfly, and he's doing his Pantera. He's doing Down right now. So we're just both staying busy, and it's great. It's awesome. It's at a good place.
Did I read somewhere that you were actually in the Pantera rehearsals because Zach wasn't quite available yet, so you were kind of handling the guitar parts during the early rehearsals for this tour?
Man, I got to jam at rehearsal number 1. This is all.
Hold on a second. Hey, I'm going to interrupt this whole fucking interview right now. So, Mike, you were actually. Was this at Nosferatu's lair?
Yeah, it's Nosferatu's lair.
So you're in there playing Pantera songs with Charlie,
Rex, and Philip.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm just trying to imagine what might be going through your brain. Because you're a fan, dude. Before fuck everything. You're
That's
a
why
fan.
that's why I asked, because that's
You're a
got to be.
fan, bro. Just like we are fans, and so
Big
I
fan.
mean, yeah. So you're in there, and just like I can't imagine what you, and then on top of what your family and friends were just probably like, you're doing what? Even though you're not, in the tribute to the brothers, this reunion thing, but you're in
The
a whole
room.
other,
Yeah.
but you're in though. You're
Yes.
you're
And
in
playing the music that he grew up listening
it's
to.
the inner circle, and you're living out some kind of strange, unbelievable, surreal. Tell us how that felt.
The 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 most important thing about this rehearsal that went down, the most important thing was that it was rehearsal number one. It was the very first one. It was the first time that those three guys got in a room together, but most specifically, Rex Brown and Philip Anselmo, who had not really been in a room together jamming Pantera songs since 2001.
That's heavy.
It was very,
That's mental,
very,
heavy.
very heavy.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing among the many things that were going on at this rehearsal. So leading up to it, real quick, I was in the Netherlands doing a jam with the Bay Area International,
Oh, that's right.
which was a whole big deal, jamming with all these amazing legends of the Bay Area. I was the only Texas guy on that stage who did the entire set, by the way, with all these guys. It was insane. I got
Yeah.
into my hotel room and I'm on cloud nine. I'm by myself in my hotel room, and I had a missed phone call from Philip, and I was like, man, I hadn't talked to him in a few months. We both been busy, so I hit him right back up like 5 minutes later. I remember sitting in the hotel room talking to him, and he's telling me, Mike, we need you. We need you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We need you. Zach Wild can't make our very first rehearsal. The guys want to get together and start dusting off these songs. And we need somebody to come out and play the guitar so we can kind of get the wheels rolling on these songs. It was just a rehearsal, but at that moment in time, it was the biggest deal ever because it was Charlie Benante, Rex, and Philip wanting to jam Pantera, and the Illegals had just got done doing the Pantera tribute sets. So all those songs were fresh in my mind and definitely in my playing. And so I had a 2-week, 2.5 weeks, it wasn't much of a window to really get back on those songs again from what I was just doing. I had just learned 15 thrash songs from the late 80s, which was like Exodus and Forbidden and Metallica and Slayer, deep cuts, so my mind was in a jumble of Megadeth notes.
Yeah.
And then I had to switch gears and go into like a Pantera full-blown history set to get in this room with these guys because these guys wanted to practice. Now I've practiced with lots of guys, my guys in my local bands to guys, but to be in a room with these guys who have been, jamming since the 80s, man, putting releases out since I was born, to get in a room with these three specific individuals was a really, really big deal and very surreal. Now, let's talk about it real quick. I remember getting there and thinking, who's gonna be there? Like, is it just gonna be us? Like, I had no idea. I did not know who was gonna be there. I thought it was just gonna be maybe 4 or 5 guys. But when I got there and it was a production of people, we're talking to, a crew of people, I was like, whoa, this is way bigger than what I was even imagining